Hello YouTube, my name is Octopus Joey, and welcome to my third Roblox video. My first two Roblox videos got a lot of views, so I decided to make it an annual thing where every year I review some Roblox games and talk about how the website has changed. Like last time, I'm going to start out by playing some games that I found on my own or were suggested by friends, and then I'm going to play some games that were suggested to me in the comments. So yeah, let's get started. Somehow I've gone this whole time without talking about one of the most popular Roblox games of all time, Miep City. I don't know why I never bothered to review it. It's been at the very front of the popular page since before I made the first Roblox video. Miep City is, to a very small extent, a virtual life game kind of like Second Life or Animal Crossing, but on a much smaller scale. You can get a pet to start off with, and I decided to name mine I Wish I Was Dead. Come on, I Wish I Was Dead, let's go explore the city. The main reason this game doesn't really appeal to me is because it's not really much of a game. It's more like a hangout for kids. The most interesting thing about this game to me was furnishing my house. This is my bedroom, this is my living room, this is my office where I do all my video editing, and this is my studio where I record everything. Or at least it would be if the furniture store in this game sold any recording equipment. But at least I got a lamp, so I can do one-point lighting, I guess. And hey, at least you can dance while running through a crowd. Out of my way, guys, I got places to be! Or if you're really talented, you can dance while playing the piano in the pizza shop with no one in it. I'll be famous one day. I won't be famous one day. I think I would like Miep City a lot better if I was younger. If you are within the target age range for this game, it's a good hangout, but as a game, I'm gonna have to give it a meh rating. It's enjoyable for a little bit, but it's just not very engaging. If there was more to the gameplay, maybe some mini-games or something, it might have a better lasting appeal. Breaking Point, previously known as Shot in the Dark, might be the most controversial Roblox game I've ever played. The concept is that everyone is around a table in a dark room with a gun, and there are a few different game modes centered around that. There's one where a secret murderer shoots one person with the lights off every round and everyone accuses who they think the murderer is. There's one where everyone takes turns attempting to shoot someone, but the gun might or might not go off. And there's one that's just duck duck goose, but with knife fights instead of running around in a circle. It's definitely very dark for a Roblox game, but it used to be even darker and has been taken down by Roblox a couple of times. In the original Shot in the Dark, there was a Russian roulette game mode. That's been removed, and this game hasn't really had any trouble since, to my knowledge, so I'm guessing that's what made the difference. Anyway, the game itself is pretty fun. It's not one that I'd play for hours on end, but it's still pretty enjoyable accusing people for stupid reasons, or asking people questions and killing them based on their answer. And the knife combat in the Duck Duck Goose game mode definitely adds to it. Not the best one out there, but it's still good. Blammo, a game that's better to be experienced than to be explained. Look at this game for a second and try to tell me that that isn't an accurate description of this game. Everything about this game is absolutely hilarious. This is your character, there's a lot of characters to talk to, and that's basically the whole game. It sounds so stupid in concept, but it really is a game worth experiencing for the dialogue and the different themed areas. I'm not going to show you too much of this game because of how humor-based it is, but trust me when I say that if you have Roblox installed, you really need to check out this game. It's good. My only real complaint is that this game is very light on gameplay. If the creator of this game made something along the lines of an adventure game or a turn-based RPG in the style of Earthbound, that would be something truly special. Urbis is yet another virtual life game, but this time there's actually stuff to do. You can get a job, which results in you getting money and job experience that will let you get higher paying jobs. There's a decent bit of variety in the jobs. You can be a cashier, a fry cook, a hairstylist, a bartender, and more. And even outside of work, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can buy furniture to furnish your apartment, go to a casino, go to the movies, get a haircut, get food. There's a lot to do. This is the kind of game that I can see myself playing for a while to see what else is in it, because there really does seem to be a lot here. Content-wise, it's very impressive. Gameplay-wise, it's very fun. It's a good game. And considering it works just as well as the hangout place, I no longer have any reason to play Miep City ever again. Next game, Car Crushers. Car Crushers reminds me a lot of Get Eaten, only somehow even less interesting. You start out by choosing a car, you drive it into a crusher, that's basically the whole game. You can't even go into the crusher with your car. All you do is watch your car get crushed. Fascinating. It doesn't always work either. I had a few instances where my car just decided not to go in for whatever reason. At least Get Eaten has some entertainment value in the sense that it's ridiculous in concept, and it's kind of funny watching the entire process play out. In this game, literally all you do is watch cars fall apart, and that's if it decides it wants to work. So yeah, it's not good and probably not worth your time. The future is somehow even stranger than Blammo. This is what the characters look like, and the controls are interesting. In order to pick something up, you have to stand very close to it, look down, and click on it. Purposely bad controls are a trope that I'm really starting to get tired of. All it does is lead to a novelty that doesn't last long. There are two game modes, Gladiators and Moving Day. In Gladiators, you have to pick up the weapons in the middle and try to effectively kill each other. It's frustrating, but it's also hilarious to watch the first couple of times. In Moving Day, what you're supposed to do is move stuff from the house into the truck in a certain amount of time. What you'll probably end up doing is figuring out that the physics are so messed up that you can just fly using furniture. One thing I like about this game is that it doesn't take the goals seriously at all. It doesn't track any stats or anything, only exception being the percentage of stuff moved to the truck. I like to think of this game as a showcase of how ridiculous Roblox's physics can be. Unfortunately, pretty much all of this game's appeal is the novelty of how ridiculous it is. At least with Blammo, there's a lot of interesting writing which is updated pretty frequently. This game is enjoyable for a while, but there really isn't any reason to revisit it unless the creator updates it and adds more game modes. It's definitely not bad, but it's not really that good either. But I will say, I really like how much this game and Blammo differ from Roblox's default style. And the same thing can be said about Rollernauts. Rollernauts is basically bumper balls from Mario Parties 1 and 2, but with power-ups and more maps. Everyone stands on top of a ball and tries to bounce everyone off. It's a pretty simple concept, but the items and the maps definitely give it some variety. I'd seriously recommend checking it out. It's a good game. Now that I've looked at some games that I found on my own, I'm gonna play some games that were suggested in the comments. My only problem in choosing games to play was that a lot of people suggested games in bulk. What I mean is, a lot of people left lists of like 5 or 6 games that I should play in the comments. This isn't a big deal, but as a result I had 63 games suggested to me. But only 15 games were suggested more than once, and I narrowed that down to 8. As much as I would love to review 70 Roblox games in one video, that's not gonna happen. The first suggested game that I'm gonna play is Purple Skittles. Now going into this, I had no idea what to expect. The artwork on the page wasn't really helpful, and what is Purple Skittles even supposed to mean? Then I realized that it was made by the same person who made Blammo, and I immediately knew that this game would be better to be experienced than explained. And remember earlier when I said how great it would be if the creator of Blammo made an Earthbound-inspired turn-based RPG? Well, guess what? It's an Earthbound-inspired turn-based RPG. This game absolutely blows Blammo out of the water. First of all, it's a lot funnier than Blammo because it has more to go off of. It makes fun of a lot of RPG tropes, it has a story to go off of, kind of, and most importantly, it has gameplay. Like I said, it's a turn-based RPG, but like Undertale and most Mario RPGs, there's gameplay within the combat. And by combat, I mean an air hockey table. Yes, you fight enemies by playing air hockey with them. That is the extent to which this game makes fun of RPG tropes, and it is completely genius. This is honestly one of the funniest games I've ever played, and part of the reason for that is because nothing in the game is taken seriously except the gameplay. Everything else is taken as an opportunity for the developers to have fun, and you can tell that they had a lot of fun making this game. I've reviewed some good Roblox games before, but this is the first one that after stopping the recording, I continued to play for hours. That's how good this game is. A couple of people suggested Cavern. This is yet another game that differs drastically from Roblox's style, this time with a different kind of blocky theme. It's basically a randomly generated dungeon exploration game. I'm a big Zelda fan, so I can definitely get behind some good dungeon exploration. This game is still a work in progress, but I'm very impressed with what they have so far. It's a little luck-based when it comes to item drops, locked doors, and enemy spawns, and the scenery doesn't seem to change all that much once you load a dungeon, however there are different dungeon themes to choose from. But this game is still a work in progress, so maybe with that will come more possibilities for dungeon generation and more to the scenery. Also, you can play dungeons cooperatively with friends, which makes the experience even better. It's a very good concept executed very well. It's a good game! Next up, Legendary: The Necromancer's Revenge. Legendary is basically a medieval-themed combat game with a couple of different game modes. There weren't a lot of people playing when I joined, so the only mode I was able to play was the one that I'm pretty sure is the main story mode. In this mode, you fight waves of enemies. Not really complicated, but not too boring either. The combat works for what it is, and there are more types of enemies that come in as the game progresses. And between games, you can go to the town and get some upgrades. There's a lot of cooperation and strategy involved in addition to the combat. It's a pretty impressive game. I wouldn't really call this my preferred genre, but I can still acknowledge that a lot of effort went into it and it's very well made. It's a good game. I've made it pretty clear why I don't like most Tycoons. Most are very uninspired and just have you wait to get money and there's no other added gameplay. Last time I looked at a Tycoon that was completely different and genuinely good, Retail Tycoon. And some people suggested that I play a fairly new one called Lumber Tycoon 2. It's definitely different from other Tycoons. Instead of waiting to get money, you chop down trees and sell the wood. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this game is better than most Tycoons. But that doesn't mean it's good. Even though it's not based around waiting, it's still very slow. I played the game for an entire hour and barely made any progress. And the main reasons are that the axe that you start off with is very slow and you're constantly fighting with the physics. What you have to do is click and drag objects such as trees from place to place. This might not be a problem if it was easier to rotate, or weight didn't matter, or if it was less precise. Or for that matter, if things actually went where you wanted them to most of the time. But because of the physics, you have to constantly try to place things in the right place, and that just makes the game very frustrating. It's not as mindless as most Tycoons, and it's certainly way more original, but it's every bit as boring and even more frustrating. It's not a pleasant experience, so I'm gonna have to call it bad. But I will say that the concept is very good, the presentation is decent, and the flaws that break the game for me can be fixed pretty easily. Next up, Murder Mystery 2. In Murder Mystery 2, one person is a murderer trying to kill everyone, one person is a sheriff trying to kill the murderer, and everyone else just tries to avoid being murdered. This might be the most played game on Roblox, approaching 500 million visits as of the time I'm recording this. And you know what? It's a shameless ripoff of Garry's Mod Murder. There's a difference between modeling a game after another game and copying a game. When you model a game after another game, you put your own little spin on it. For example, Purple Skittles was modeled after Earthbound, but it takes the humor to the next level and has a completely different combat system. The SpongeBob movie game obby is modeled after the SpongeBob movie game in its visuals, but it differs in gameplay, focusing more on the obstacles and completely removing the combat. This game is literally just Gmod Murder on Roblox. You could argue that Gmod Murder isn't original either. It's based on the party game Murder in the Dark. But once again, Gmod Murder doesn't follow the rules of Murder in the Dark exactly. It puts its own spin on it, which Murder Mystery just copied. And you know what? It's not even a good copy. In Gmod Murder, the innocent people can collect 5 collectibles to get another gun to help find and kill the murderer. This gives the innocent people something to do other than just run around and hope they don't die. In Murder Mystery 2, the only way to get a gun is to either be assigned sheriff or pick it up after the sheriff dies. Well, at least the maps are original, but they're not really anything special, and they don't change the game enough to make it any less of a ripoff. It's just a cheap knockoff, and a pretty bad one at that. Zombie Rush is pretty simple. There are waves of zombies, and you kill them. It's not the most original game I've ever played, but it's definitely very satisfying shooting so many zombies. It's mindless in the best way possible, and by that I mean it doesn't really require much thought, but it keeps your mind occupied, and it's fun because of that. And the fact that you don't have to reload just adds to that. Plus there's a decent sense of progression as you choose more weapons when you level up. I also really like how when you die you can come back as a zombie if you want. It gives you something to do rather than just waiting for everyone else to finish the game. It's fun, it's cooperative, it's a good game. Another game that was requested a few times was Miner's Haven. It's a Tycoon that plays similarly to some of the more generic ones, but there are a couple things that set it apart. For one thing, you actually progress pretty quickly. Another thing, you have complete control over where you place everything. There are also so many different things that you can unlock over time to help maximize your profit. I found it kind of intimidating and a little hard to get into, and some parts even a little confusing, but that's not enough to stop it from being a good game. And finally, my most requested game for this video, Super Paper Roblox. It's an obstacle course with some writing and a Paper Mario inspired art style. But unlike most obstacle courses, this one has a central overworld with different paths that you go in a certain order. I'll be honest, I wasn't too impressed at first. The platforming seemed kind of generic and the writing didn't really do much for me. However, the platforming got more interesting as the game progressed, and I really like the scenery and the art style. I also like how the entire world is connected, so you can see other parts of the world in the distance. It's not my favorite platforming game on Roblox, but it's still a good one. And those are all the Roblox games that I'm going to play in this video, but I'll leave you with a brief top 5 best and worst Roblox games that I've played across my 3 videos. And if you haven't seen my other 2 videos, I'll also put on screen which video I reviewed it in. I'm going to start with the worst, but I'm also going to mention how they can be improved. Also, I'm not including generic obbies or tycoons since I never really gave any a proper review. Dishonorable mention, Dinosaur Simulator. Some people said that I didn't really judge this game fairly because it's a better experience if you play it with friends. I might give it another chance with some friends sometime, but that doesn't really fix my main problem with it, which is that the server player limit is too small for the big world that's presented. If they change the player limit from 16 players to somewhere around 30 players, it might be a little more interesting. Number 5, Lumber Tycoon 2. I wanted to like this game because of its originality, but its flaws definitely set it back. If it just simply moved faster and you could control what you're grabbing easier, maybe even make it less physics-based, it would be a lot better. Number 4, Roblox Dodgeball. My problem with this game is that instead of using actual dodgeball rules, it uses a made-up set of rules which 1, misleads you into thinking you're playing something you're not, and 2, cuts back on strategy and makes it purely about reflexes. To combat this, I would make the game play the way dodgeball is supposed to be played. So make it so that you're out after 1 hit rather than 3 hits, and make it so that you can catch the ball to get players who throw out and get one of your players back in. Number 3, Murder Mystery 2. This one is simple. Just give the core gameplay some features that Gmod Murder doesn't have. That way you're not ripping it off, you're just making something new out of old subject matter. Number 2, Get Eaten. The problem with this game is that the novelty dies out very quickly, and part of the reason for that is that you have to go down the same slide multiple times before unlocking another one. So simply, make it progress faster. If this makes the game too short, add more slides. And number 1, Car Crushers. I think if the ways cars crushed were wackier and more animated rather than trying to look realistic, the game might have somewhat of a novelty to it. And if you unlocked the other cars faster, you'd have more reasons to keep playing the game as it progressed. Alright, time for my top 5 after a quick honorable mention, Super Checkpoint. Easily the best Roblox game that can be classified as an obby. It's very fast-paced, it has some good progression, and a lot of replay value. Alright, number 5, Epic Minigames. The minigames are very solid, the overworld lobby is great, and it's just so easy to get into. Number 4, Adventure Forward Star Savior. An impressive Super Mario 64 inspired platformer. It keeps the heart of Super Mario 64 while also adding a lot of new ways of platforming and collecting into the mix. Number 3, A Pirate's Life. This is the game that I called the best game on Roblox in my first video. While I've come to like 2 Roblox games more since, I still stand by that it's very free. And the reason for that is that there really isn't any set objective, just incentives to explore the world. And the presentation is just perfect. It's a very well built and good looking game and it progresses perfectly. Number 2, Urbis. I was very impressed to see a virtual life game of this scale on Roblox. It's just so content packed, and even if you play it for hours on end, you're likely to do something different every few minutes. And number 1, Purple Skittles. When I heard the name, I didn't know what to expect, but I certainly wasn't expecting one of the funniest and most original turn-based RPGs I've ever played. This is the kind of game that makes you forget you're playing Roblox because of how much it differs from Roblox's default style. So how does Roblox differ between this year and last year? Not a whole lot, but there are a few things worth mentioning. Most notably, Roblox has become very strict when it comes to censorship. There was the whole controversy with Shot in the Dark or Breaking Point, which I talked about earlier, but that was mostly justified, I'd say, because of the Russian roulette game mode. The chat censorship has gotten a little ridiculous. Look at this forum post, for example. H, I, and J are all censored. There's also a 13+ logo for every player over 13 so that parents can tell if their kids lied about their age. Honestly, I don't see too much of a problem with Roblox becoming stricter in these regards. It's a little annoying, sure, but you do have to remember that Roblox's target audience is kids. So if parents start complaining about people bypassing the censors, yeah, they're gonna make them a little more strict. So if you ever bypass the censors on Roblox intentionally, shame on you. You're the reason Roblox is as strict as it is. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say about Roblox in this video. If you know of any Roblox games that you want me to play in the future, let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to check out 1P3P. It's a show where me and 2 of my friends play the same game with 3 controllers controlling the same character. And yes, it's just as chaotic as it sounds. My name is Octopus Joey. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and click either of the videos on screen for more. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/octojoey and follow me on social media at twitter.com/octojoey and facebook.com/octopusjoey.